Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are taking a look at the current weekly candle close, the macro and short-term price action, Bitcoin dominance, the total market cap, and so much more. By the end of today's video, you'll have a detailed and well-rounded understanding of not only what to expect on the macro charts, the short-term charts, but of course, everything you need to know about the key levels and possible next moves. Before we do get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos of Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. That will be the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop for cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, join us in VIP. We post trading setups with exact entries, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You can see all the profits we are printing in here. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Check it out, guys, via the pinned comment in the free channel by clicking my name or these links for more info. In addition to access to the main channel, you'll get access to our group chats, our general chat, our trading chat, education chat, our daily video news, help, and trade setup chat. Check that out, guys, and we'll jump on in. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So taking a look at the charts in the past 24 hours, and over the weekend, we didn't really see all that much move of Bitcoin. Bitcoin more or less was chopping sideways. Now moving into the weekly closing price, we have seen a significant surge of volatility as Bitcoin bounced from the low 62,000 region all the way up to 63 to just nearly touch 64 in a matter of 30 minutes. That is fantastic, but of course we are still under this critical level of horizontal resistance at 63,800, which we'll be discussing in the video today. Taking a look briefly at the weekly, we can see that weekly candle has officially closed. It closed just 20 seconds ago. As we can see with that weekly close, we have now officially had that positive momentum shift on the RSI, suggesting momentum has officially flipped positive, and of course we've closed the weekly candle above that dotted trend line. Looking fantastic. We'll come back to all of that in a moment. 24-hour volume and 24-hour liquidations. Let's take a look. 24-hour volume is up 38% at 98 billion. 24-hour liquidations sitting at 150 million, up 73%. Again, a lot of that coming from the last 2 hours of price action, which with that surge of momentum up to retest that 64,000 region. Over the past 24 hours, 84 million have come from long liquidations and 31 million have come from short liquidations. Moving over to the broader markets, taking a look at the DXY. DXY is still hanging on by a thread at that horizontal support. Again, we have dropped below that major symmetrical triangle formation, breaking down from a 1 year long diagonal uptrend, now retesting a 1.5 year long horizontal support. As we can see, below this 100 region, there is really not all that much support until we come into that 94, 95 region or that 93, 92 region. So we are expecting a strong correction for the DXY if we are going to be breaking below this support level. Until then, we are at a support and we could see some small bounces, but even if we see a small bounce, while we remain underneath this 1 year long diagonal trend line, we are expecting continuations lower. So overall, on the short term, possibly a bounce. On the higher time frame, very confident we are going to see the DXY drop moving into mid-2025. That is, of course, very bullish for assets. Very bullish for Bitcoin. Moving over to the S&P 500. The S&P 500 had a fantastic weekly close, just like Bitcoin, breaking through their horizontal high points at 5,685 and 5,722 respectively. As we can see, we have now broken through this horizontal consolidation range, which has been spanning since the start of June, officially breaking upwards. This level now, this 5,720 to 5,680, it is now now going to be a level of support, meaning we will like to see this level sustain on the weekly chart to facilitate continuations higher. At the moment, we are expecting macro continuations into or close to that $6,000 region. Once again, while we sustain above 5,300, which is our prior low point, we are very much macro bullish. Overall, charts are looking fantastic. Let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin. Like we said, we are going over the short term. We are going over the possible next moves and the key levels you need to be watching. We are discussing the macro charts. We are going into the weekly. We are discussing the total and absolutely everything. And we'll also be doing a video on our second channel this week to discuss altcoins. You can check the link out down below in the description to find our second channel. And before we get into the analysis, if you are interested in 15% lifetime discounts on your trading fees, massive incentive there, guys. Check that out. Sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX via the links down below. Again, a 15% lifetime discount on your trading fees that can build up to 45% based on your trading volume. And of course, you'll support me and support the channel by clicking those links and trading there. Trade where I trade, get big discounts, and enjoy the platform. Sign up. I'll play an ad and we'll get into it. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs, and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay, legends, let's go ahead and get stuck back in. So taking a look at Bitcoin really quickly, the weekly candle close, fantastic stuff. We're not going to spend too much time here, but we do need to discuss it as this is the most significant weekly close in terms of momentum shifts we have seen in well over, what are we looking at here, guys? We look at 210 days. Absolute insanity. 210 days. This is the first weekly positive momentum shift we have seen in 210 days. The last time we saw a macro positive momentum shift as a consequence of a diagonal trend line on the RSI breaking during a period of mass horizontal consolidation was back over here between March 2023 ending October 2023. This was 224 days. What we saw was, again, the horizontal consolidation, the RSI dropping, representing decreasing momentum. We eventually saw a positive momentum shift with the RSI breaking out. You can see that occurred on the week of the 217th day. Eventually, the week after, we saw the candle break up and continue. So we are looking for a similar reaction now in the price action, meaning we are more inclined to expect a green week, and we are expecting a continuation higher. Now, that may not happen immediately. We'll discuss that in the short term. We could see small pullbacks, but on the higher time frame, we have seen a significant display of strength over here. And again, with that momentum flipping positive, the probabilities are more and more leaning in favor of continuations to retest these high points. So we're looking at the high point now at around 68.2, potentially 67.2. That's going to be the upper range resistance. Additionally, on the weekly, we can also see that 50 EMA was respected. This is also going to be a key level we are watching in the future for possible retests if we do drop back down. So watching weekly on the 50, we are watching weekly now on the upper trend line. For now, the RSI breakout, fantastic stuff. Nothing can really invalidate that. We have seen the positive shift over here. We are wanting to see that RSI pump a little bit higher. Again, a fantastic start, but we are also underneath that prior high point. Breaking just a little bit high here would really be that final, not opposite of nailing the coffin. I know what analogy we're going to use for that, but that final thing we need to really show that strength to push higher. Overall, fantastic weekly, best weekly for a while, looking good. From a perspective of the candlesticks, we didn't quite get the weekly over that 64.2 level. This is going to again be the prior high points. We would really like to see the price action break above here to continue higher as well from a candlesticks perspective. But again, we'll discuss that when we're going to do the short term in just a moment. So that is it for the weekly chart, guys. Let's jump into the short term. The short term price action is not as only good news as the macro, unfortunately. We are seeing some bearish signs here and some warning signs, and we can kind of see the price action, you know, struggling, I would say, a little bit with this $63.8 to $64,000 resistance. And mind you, that level is going to correspond with that weekly horizontal level we just plugged into the chart over here. That level, exactly that level we need to break through to see that continuation. So what we can see over here is Bitcoin has been developing more of a horizontal range over the past, I would say, about 3 to 4 days. This is going to be through that weekend period. Again, this is going to be our horizontal range over here. We do have our upper level of resistance marked out by this gray box to make it easy to see. And again, our lower level of support. Let's just go ahead and plug this in right over here to represent that area of support. So that is going to be our support and our resistance. What we can see, guys, is this local resistance. We had our bearish divergence print, resulting in a correction down, establishment of a base low, where we have deviated below today before we saw a rally back up to retesting, failing to really sustain above that region. So we do know we have developed now a very clear horizontal consolidation. We can define two objective facts. Number one, for us to see continuations, we are going to need to flip this upper level of resistance, and therefore a break and close. We're looking for at least a 4-hour close, over here above that 63,800 region to facilitate continuations. Now we have zoomed out, and we'll show you again when we do zoom out. We can see that above this region, if we draw in these horizontal resistances, we don't really have a lot of resistance left before we see continuations to the macro descending channel range high. So let's go ahead and plug that resistance in. You can see right over here on the 4-hour chart, we had our equal high resistance. Okay, we had our change of character when we broke through. We have established our base of support in that prior continuation. We lost our base of support, resulting in macro corrections. We built back up. We saw deviation above that resistance before continuation down, and now we are currently challenging that resistance. So again, 63.8 is the level we need to clear to see continuations through and into that 67, that 68,000 region, which will be retests of that range high. Until then, as we said in our prior video, this is a resistance we have to be paying attention to, and we need to take very seriously. This is a resistance which, if does not break, could result in continuations to 62,000. To 60,400, which we'll discuss in a second. So taking a look at this range over here, we do have a few notable levels of support below us. Again, we have got a very significant level of support right over here at 62,000, meaning if we are unsuccessful at sustaining this channel, meaning if we do break toward the downside from this channel, we are watching for moves into this level of support. Again, if we touch this level of support, we are looking for reversals. Okay, reversals can develop from this region. If we fail to sustain here, we have got another area of support right over here, 61.3. Again, we are watching for reversals. And again, if we fail to sustain there, we have got our primary support at 60,000, 60,400, which extends to 69,200. This is going to be a major reversal point. Ideally, we are in a horizontal consolidation, which we entered from the bottom side in, so the probabilities are going to be in favor for continuations directly upwards as opposed to anything below around 60,800. We could see a drop into this region as a liquidity grab before a continuation. That is a possibility, but I would say that would be the worst case scenario for the short term. If we do drop below here, I'd say that is quite unlikely. The likely scenario is that we are going to continue through. But like we said already, we have seen a fantastic move for Bitcoin. If we look at that breakout over here, we can see that diagonal downtrend broke out quite some time ago. We are up a significant amount since that diagonal breakout. We are at a resistance, and resistance is a resistance until it is not. So I would not be aping into longs over here. you're late long. You're late to them. You're just late to the party. If you take a look at our scenario, our positions, for example, in our VIP, look how many longs we have been taking. All these profits are swing longs on altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We've got like 20 different positions here, all at massive profits. If you're jumping into swing longs now, you are either looking for lagging coins or you're going to be late until this resistance breaks. By all means, if we clear this resistance, then it is looking good to look into some more positions toward the upside. But for now, I'd be very cautious while we are in this range, because if we do drop below here, and if we do fail to sustain above this low, we could see a pretty steep liquidity flush moving into the new week before we then move back upwards. Keep that in mind, guys. Short term, we are in a chop zone. The levels we need to pay attention to are going to be our invalidations and our triggers. We've identified the possible directional continuation upwards and likely targets if we break through this current resistance. And we've discussed possible reversal points on the downside if they are reached, where we'll be expecting bounces to occur from. So we're giving you the whole picture. We're giving you all the information and tools you need. You just need to go ahead and execute now. So let's go ahead and jump into the total. The total altcoin market will come back and discuss another time. I know a lot of people are saying we've broken out. I see a lot of charts out there saying we're broken out of the altcoin total 3. I disagree. I actually think we are coming very close to a retest. In fact, we are now retesting our prior base of support low, which is this gray box, this horizontal resistance. So yet again, we could see some pullbacks for altcoins here if Bitcoin does reject. But if we get through that 64,000, we're going to be breaching this downtrend. That is literally going to be up only mode for altcoins if we push through. We're nearly there. We're getting very, very close. And just like always, as we approach major resistance, everyone gets really bullish. As we approach major support, everyone gets really bearish. So we're getting to the point now where we've gone up a lot. We've seen some fantastic moves, some fantastic profits, but you just need to be a little bit more patient now if you haven't actually executed, if you didn't capitalize on that, if you were sleepy on those moves. Now's not the time to ape in. Wait a little bit more. Wait that 1 or 2%. Wait that little few more days to get that validation, to get more confidence in your trades to go up, rather than risking massive downside drawbacks if you ape in right now. That is what I'm going to do. Again, I have a whole bunch of altcoin longs, as everyone in VIP does. If you've been following me, you would know that we're expecting Bitcoin to bounce for a very long time now. But I am telling you now, from my perspective, I do not believe right now would be the best time to late long. Remember, late longs always get ruined. Late shorts always get ruined. You might catch the back end of the move, but you've missed the majority of it. Wait for these validations, wait for those breakouts, wait for confirmations, and then by all means, we're looking for higher moves. So let's go ahead and talk about the total. The total is in the same position. We are basically mimicking the Bitcoin chart over here. So not all that much to say with that. Essentially, whatever happens on Bitcoin, we are looking to see that reflect here on altcoins. The entire premise, guys, and I want to really make this very clear. The macro chart is looking fantastic. The short-term chart is looking a little sketchy. We are going to have to wait to see those validations for the price action to go higher. We are at risk of a liquidity flush. You can see just as we've been talking already, and you probably, I mean, this video is going to be out, so it's going to be a bit late, but just as we're talking from here, we've already seen Bitcoin's price action flush down another % over here. We're seeing a flush happen in real time. So again, we have to wait for these resistances. I wonder how many people aped into Bitcoin as it approached and went through this region without waiting for validation on that breakout. I wonder how many people are already at a massive loss, already been liquidated on this move back to those local lows. So my point is, with everything, as you approach resistance, we don't want to be aping in at resistance. You want to wait for those resistance to break. So you want to wait for those resistances at support. You want to wait for that support to validate. You want to wait for those bounces before you just hammer in your portfolio, fat finger it, and get wrecked. So that is what I'm going to say, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. I will catch you in the next video. Look at Bitcoin. What is this? This is crazy. Look at in the past freaking 2 minutes, we've seen a 1.5 to 2% flush. Well, I'm just going to leave the video going for a sec because I just want to watch this. Flushing into support right now. Again, this is going to be the level we want to sustain within. We could see that liquidity flush like we talked about. We've got our sell side liquidity down over here at 62,300. We are watching for a flush into that region for a bounce, of course, before we see continuation. That would be perfect deviation that could set up a continuation. And again, if we do lose that level, we are in trouble for Bitcoin to see that extension to fill that VRPV gap. But again, a lot of liquidations occurring right over here as we flush back into that support. I feel like I'm commentating a bloody horse race or something, which is crazy, but I'm going to leave it there, guys. Have a fantastic day. Catch you guys in the next one. See you then.